Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tells Podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Aaron.
And we're live on a Tuesday, ready to give you some podcasting. The official weapon of the show is the
folding chair.
You gotta know when the folding chair, correct? And the unofficial sport,
bullet ball.
And bullet ball, extreme. You know what it is, man. We just here to do our thing. Karen, I guess I didn't ask you before the show, but do you have any banter for today?
Mm-mm.
I don't either. So I guess we can kind of just get into, whatever we want to talk about on the show. So I guess it's been a couple of days that we neglected politics till we get mad. So
we have.
Let's go ahead and do that bad boy.
I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
People have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you, shame on you. Fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed.
Oh, yes. We all want to go to bed, Joe.
We do!
You had the right idea, buddy. Sorry we let you down. All right, let's get into some of this politics news. Let's see. No one is above the law. Pam Bondi vows to prosecute judges who block immigration efforts. Yeah, they actually arrested a judge.
What?
The FBI arrested a judge and accused them of obstructing the arrest of an immigrant by saying that the judge misdirected the ICE agents or whatever from where the immigrant was, and they arrested her for some reason.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, and so, and the FBI director, Kash Patel, I think is his name, was tweeting about it.
What?
Twitter was the official press release, Right. These people are so, for lack of a better term, ghetto. These people are so unprofessional. I'll get into it more later, but man, the things that they are able to do that are just, in addition to being corrupt, but just completely inept, not clever, not smart, just foul. Anyway, So Pam Bondi said, what has happened to our judiciary is beyond me. I think some of these judges think they are beyond and above the law, and they are not. Basically, these judges whose job it is to rule, to slow down some of this shit,
that's their
and
job.
Decide what's legal, when they come back and go, actually, I'm halting this fast moving rule that doesn't really seem to be adjudicated or thought out.
It doesn't. They come up there half-assed with bullshit, and they what the fuck is this? Get out my face. And they what you mean?
And for the most part, they're not even really overruling stuff as much as they're stopping it to be we need to review this.
Right, and look
legally,
at it.
We need to see if this is violating people's rights. And of course, this administration is treating all those judges like the bad guys, enemies. Meanwhile, Trump appointed all those Republican justices over the last year, including the Supreme Court, and they never claim when they overturn precedent or halt up different issues. They never say, well, those are activist judges. As long as they're on their side, they don't care.
Right.
Rather than downplay the concerns about the arrest of a sitting judge, Bondi suggested that it fits with the administration's larger grievances of what it calls activist judges. She emphasized that no one, including members of the judiciary, is immune from prosecution if they interfere with immigration enforcement. When Fox News host John Roberts noted that the arresting judges could be seen as an alarming expansion of executive power, she said, "No one is above the law, John. No one is above the law in this country." Sandra Smith, another host, asked her what message she would send to judges who obstruct immigration policy. She said, "We're going to prosecute you, and we are prosecuting you." They're completely loyal to Trump.
Yeah, and that was the whole point, and that's why I was saying, No, Trump might not be the smartest, nor is he the brightest, but he did learn from his last time.
Right.
And so from his last time, he actually got competent people, like smart people, intelligent people, around him, even though they was like, yeah, I voted for you, I want your policies, but they still had lines and they still had shit, but it was like, whoa, 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 like, I went in a row with you, but dog, there's certain shit that you just cannot do. So he was like, well, bitch, if I get it again, I'm gonna get people to say, fuck your rules, fuck your laws, fuck everything. If I say it's executed, and if I change my mind, they're gonna turn around and change their minds too. So he learned, and that's very, very dangerous. And people underestimated people when they were saying the second time is going to be motherfucking worse. It's not a goddamn game, y'all.
Florida influencer kicks off White House social media meeting by praising deportation. Uber drivers finally speak English again. The Trump administration continues to revamp how the executive branch interacts with media, with the White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt on Monday hosting the first ever influencer meeting. I think this is very apropos of this administration, because I think in many ways Trump is an influencer and has always been.
Agreed.
We just didn't have a word for it at the time, but it's like an influencer presidency. I mean, including with the down to the sponsored brands that he doesn't really support, like Uber. Or not, Uber. That's the not Uber.
Tesla.
Down with Tesla, it's down to that, like branding and stuff, ad placement with that kind of shit. The meeting resembled a typical press briefing, except it was not held in the White House press briefing room. The room was less crowded than usual. It featured several prominent pro-Trump creators and media members, including former press secretary Sean Spicer. Isn't that the dude that was on Dance with the Stars for a bit, and they tried to soften his image, and it's like,
yep,
you guys got to stop helping these fascists rehabilitate themselves.
Mm-hmm. You were like, this is a problem.
Yeah, everybody wanted to be peaceful and fun, but these people have never truly amended their ways or even acquiesced to the fact that they were wrong.
Right.
Like they just come into our good graces because, hey, look who's dancing on Dancing with the Stars.
Right, and this is majority of white folks that just allow them to come back in, because most black and brown and others are still like, fuck them.
The Trump White House will speak to all media outlets and personalities, not just legacy media who traditionally has covered this institution, she said. Now keep in mind, they're all pro-Trump. So this isn't even like the press, which is supposed to be neutral or unbiased.
Right.
But even under the guise of the press, like President Obama had Fox News in there. Mm-hmm. No one, like, Fox News is a propaganda wing of the Republican Party.
Right, it's not news.
But it doesn't matter. Like, they were labeled news, and he had them in there, and he answered their unfair, dumbass questions too. His press secretary had to deal with it. But when you say influencers, well, now you're picking and choosing only those who are aligned for you. People that influence your brand. That's not the same as the media.
Right. And on top of that, the thing about an influencer is not held to the same standards that somebody who is a journalist is. A lot of it is not facts and stats and statistics and studying and researching.
Well, that's the thing, right? That's why I made the distinction. I'm not even saying that journalists are held to journalist standards. Fox News to me is not journalism.
No, they're not.
They were in the room. And Obama had to allow them in the room, because if we're calling it a news channel, then we can't just be like, fuck the biggest news channel in America. Y'all don't be covering me fair, so I'm not gonna have you.
Right.
Trump don't believe that. Trump and them like, we don't even want you in here if you refuse to call it the Gulf of America. My billionaire buddies are buying newspapers and telling them not to say anything bad about me. Mm-hmm. That's what the fuck I'm on. So yeah, only people that sucking my dick gonna be allowed in the influencer meeting.
Right.
And of course, they're grifters, so they're not gonna challenge the status quo. They're not gonna ask good questions. If anything, they're just happy to be in the building, and they won't be qualified. They won't have any journalistic ethics or background or any
integrity.
Of that shit. So yeah, they said Sean Spicer was seated in the front row next to Arian Wexler, a conservative influencer with about 400,000 followers across X, TikTok, and Instagram. Wexler, who does herself just a non-lib girl in a super lib world, was called on first. I can attest to the deportations in Florida. My Uber drivers finally speak English again, so thank you for that, she said, drawing a few chuckles from the crowd before asking about trans women participating in women's sports. Other topics included the border wall, British subjects being arrested for posting memes and tax cuts. Monday's meeting was held inside the White House South Court Auditorium, which Levitt said President Joe Biden used to use as a fake Oval Office during his term. At one point, Rogan O'Handley, are they making these corny ass conservative names up? That's his name. Rogan O'Handley is his name. That sounds like a prank call to The Simpsons.
Yes.
Rogan, he named himself after Joe Rogan and hand jobs. I don't know. A right-leaning influencer who goes by DC Drano. This is who they allow in the White House. The ghetto. On Twitter, he has more than 2 million followers, complimented Leavitt by saying she's been crushing it in her role. Oh, what a podcast bro ass. Hey, first of all, thank you for having me, long time listener, first time caller. You've been crushing it. No, you spell things wrong and you constantly get contradicted by the president, but you're killing it, bro. Spicer, who now co-hosts a two-way podcast with Mike Halperin and Democratic strategist Dan Turrentine. Yeah, because that's what we need. Y'all sitting up there glad-heading with his ass. He says why the president is willing to do interviews with people who have disdain, such as Atlantic editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg. The president is unafraid and he is inspired by competition. He likes to talk to people face to face, she told him. I think that's one of his best attributes and qualities. They looked around the room and only MAGA influencers was in there. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, man. Oh my God. All right, let's see. Amazon tariff move ignites conflict as Trump declares war on Bezos. Yeah, which I actually think Jeff Bezos got them to repeal it. So Amazon was basically going to put a column on your checkout for Amazon Amazon items and tell you, hey, this is a surcharge that is due to the tariff of Donald Trump, and that's why this thing costs so much. Right. And Donald Trump got so mad at them that he demanded that they take it down.
And it was like, no, we're not taking it down if we got to pay more. And it basically was a tactic to make people angry. People who didn't give a fuck would now be like, why do I have to pay more? Oh, it's because of Donald Trump. Yeah, well, that's the thing, though. They did take it down. Yeah, they did take it down. The Amazon denies plans to list tariff prices after President Trump calls Jeff Bezos. So it sounds like he put pressure on Bezos. Bezos told Amazon, no, just make the prices higher, obviously, but don't tell people why it's higher. Prices going, you're not tricking nobody. Prices are still going to go up. And it's all just a shell game. It's just keeping people stupid, right? Like now you got people that, Donald Trump them prices ain't because of no tariffs. He said the price wasn't going to go up. It's like, well, it costs more now. I don't see no tariffs on here. I don't know what you're talking about. That's basically he's just depending on people to be fucking dumb. All the rest of us that aren't fucking got our heads in the sand are like, this costs more because it's coming from China or it's coming from blank, and that's why we got to pay more for it. It's the tariffs. Yep, because America is the number one export of racism, and we really don't export that many other things to other countries. We do, but not. We consume, like, we have more imports than exports. Right. And, if Trump is trying to make us an isolationist, if I'm saying that right, country, and that's stupid when majority of everything we consume and buy and everything comes from outside of America. Right. And these people are so stupid that they'll turn around, we can do it here. No, not at these American prices. Like not at the rates. And on top of that, most of us aren't skilled enough in whatever these fields are, and most of us don't want to do them fucking hard ass manual labor ass jobs to get the shit that we would need done. Trump to sign executive order forcing truck drivers to speak English. The memorandum, which is expected to be signed in the Oval Office on Monday evening, will require those driving a commercial vehicle to be qualified as proficient English speakers. President Trump believes English is a non-negotiable safety requirement for professional drivers, as they should be able to read and understand traffic signs. A document seen by Breitbart says.
Sean Duffy said the transportation secretary, will be directed to rescind and replace guidance to strengthen inspection procedures for compliance with English and proficiency requirements. The order reverses an Obama-era memo that removed the requirement to place drivers out of service for violating English proficient standards. I don't know. Other than the bigotry, I don't know what possible thing there is to gain from this.
Right, that, and also a lot of shit in this country. People don't know how a lot of shit gets to them. Comes by truck. A lot of shit comes by truck. And you have a lot of people of all types of nationalities, a lot of immigrants that drive it because, I could be on the road and by myself, I don't have to do a lot of things. And for some of us, it's probably a safer job, depending on what you're doing. And if all of a sudden these people can't do these jobs and food starts spoiling and food can't get there and food isn't traveling and it's not going to the trains to transport it to other places, all of a sudden the cost of food and all this other shit and clothes or whatever else you're doing is going to go up. And like I said before, if you work in any form of manufacturing and construction where you deal with like bobcats and all this shit, a lot of this shit moves on trucks and all this shit when shit needs to go from across town or across the country and shit like that. The cost of everything is going to go up. Like everything you touch is going to go up because all these things are impacted by other things. And not only that, people fail to realize medications are shipped like this. Like it's a lot of shit that people underestimate that are shipped like this because a lot of times the quickest way to get to some points is by truck.
I just don't know what it's adding. Like I know what the consequences will be, but I don't like what is the actual reason for this. Doesn't feel like because everything's so unsafe and it's because people aren't speaking good enough English.
The cruelty is the point.
Or like truck drivers are getting their CDL and not knowing how to read a sign. Right. So my guess is actually something a little bit different than yours. I don't think this is going to affect trucking. I don't think we're going to see a lot less truckers on the road. This reminds me of we won't be giving federal funds to any schools that say that let transgender girls run track or something like that. And then it's like, y'all already don't give federal money to schools that do that. So
okay,
what's the point? What is the message you're sending here? Because it's not one that will actually affect those schools because they don't get that money in the first place. Or they don't do the thing that you're talking about, so it just it's not saving us any money. This feels like that. I don't think there are truck drivers who don't know how to read English signs.
Because you get a CDL, you got to know how to read the signs.
Like, it's just a scapegoat. It's a scary thing. Like, if anything, my guess is I bet that Obama memo was more of a just like, well, we already have people that are, like, clearly able to drive and follow the traffic laws. Maybe they don't speak the best English, but what the fuck would that matter? That's not, the job isn't speaking English. The job is knowing how to drive.
Right, the job is driving
and once they get their certification and shit, why would we take that away from them? Agreed. Even if you're having to read the instructions in Spanish to get your certification, the signs that they're showing you are in English.
Yes, they are.
So you would know, and plus the signs are visual, right? Anyway, they're like, motherfuckers just come to America and be like, I don't even know what a 6 or a 5 is. I'm gonna drive 190 miles.
Right.
Like per hour. Like, all right. Let's see. Trump store launches 2028 hats to tease third term as president. I just want to know more than anything in that sentence. Our president has a fucking store. The ghetto. They are so fucking ghetto. So transparently trailer trash ass motherfuckers. You're the president. You shouldn't have a store. There's no fucking Joe Biden Obama store when they're in office. No, and not that we would even be buying that shit, but the point being, like, why is that even a thing that you're trying to do?
Right. Why is this okay? And it's gonna fucking flop because everything he touched, all them businesses failed.
This shit is just such a grift. I'm not even saying that it'll flop because he's clearly had this MAGA hat selling shit for 10 years. Like, it seems like they're never gonna run out of money because motherfuckers just keep they want to support this shit. But my question is, why do you want to support something like this? Why are you, like, that's a weird fucking thing to be wearing those hats and 2028, knowing that that's a violation of the Constitution.
Yeah, they don't.
This shit ain't about the law, and it's not fucking about politics.
Nope.
It's not about his policies. It's about something worse. Like, it's the only way to explain it, because any reasonable fucking person would be like, well, obviously not a third term. That's not even fucking in the Constitution. And we shouldn't be trying to amend it for that reason. Like who the fuck are you that you're better than every other president that ever came before you? No, you don't get to just serve 3 terms. If that was the case, they would have ran Obama a 3rd term or some shit. Just fucking go. If people are being on the honest up and up, you did your job, now go sit down. But they're not. USDA withdraws Biden-era plan to limit salmonella in poultry.
And I was right. I was like, hey, dog, when they start deregulating all this shit, your food's gonna kill you, your water gonna turn into fire. They start taking back all of the environmental laws and all that shit. It's getting ready to be very hard and very ghetto, and nobody's going to put like this. All the motherfuckers is like, what do the federal government do? What do my taxpayers do? What do my taxes do? Bitch, they keep you safe. They keep you safe. They keep you from dying from the food that you eat. There's people that, and we've read too many articles about them, particularly during COVID, how they was going to these slaughterhouses, and it was so fucked up they had to shut them bitches down, and it caused the price of like chicken and meat and shit to go up, because they was like, hey, y'all gonna kill people. They've had all those recalls and all them shits. Every time you turn around, the recalls been going up. Why? Because them people are not able to do their jobs. And so now, salmonella kills people. So now they was like, yeah, that shit you get from chicken, we ain't checking for that shit no more.
Yeah. Also, maybe it's just me. I think it's very important that we have chicken in America that does not have salmonella in it, or at least as little as possible. I don't know why you would withdraw a plan to limit salmonella in poultry unless you were just on the take of big business so much that you were like, fuck people's safety. What possible upside could there be to, well, let's just let a few more people get sick?
And the thing is, what people fail to realize, a lot of people do not know their history, because this right here, a lot of the shit that they trying to deregulate, a lot of this, I'm not trying to be funny, came from unions. People fail to realize unions had to fight for the right for clean working environments in these places to, so that they wouldn't get sick and their children wouldn't get sick. They fought for these rights. And so they basically turn around and stripping a lot of these things that a lot of unions and people fucking fought for, because you know what happens in the 1920s, 1930s? People fucking died in masses because nobody was ruling, nobody was watching it, nobody was regulation, there was nobody over, and the companies didn't give a fuck. You couldn't sue, nobody was held accountable, anything. And that's what they're getting ready to go. That's they're chipping at it to that point. They don't like for citizens to have the right to sue and hold these companies accountable for their lack of caring and not being concerned about their employees and all the benefits that people have today, FMLA and all this shit. That shit is coming next. Like people better realize they're coming after the average American worker who's dumbass right now think that they will always have the benefits that they have. No, you will not. If you allow them to strip them away, it's going to be very hard to get the same things you have back. And this is why I'm very adamant about fighting against the shit that they're stripping and slowly stripping away from people. And people are too stupid, they're too self-centered, they're too naive, they believe the lies, and they will not look at the things around them. And people that have union jobs are scared because the whole thing is they want to break up and bust the unions. They are anti-union. And this is why it was very insulting to them when that motherfucker went up there and was like, rah, 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 Trump. And everybody else was like, no, bitch, he is anti-us.
Oh, I think we did it, guys. Politics till we get mad. End of that segment. Karen appears to be very mad.
Let me see what you want to be. You better move your body. You better move your feet. And I want to groove. Show me what's cool. Riding, caring, baby. LGBTQ news.
They're trying to take us down, but we still around. We lit. They're trying to steal a shine, but we on the ride. We lit. But you can't do what we're about to do. We lit. Black guy who tips.
LGBTQ news.
And don't apologize. That segment is infuriating. It's always going to make us mad, and that's why we don't. That's why we call it that. That just lets you know when it's over. We get as far as we can, and some days it's 7 stories, some days it's 1. I don't know.
Right.
Fucking crazy.
It depends on what the story is, y'all.
All right, let's go to like I said, LGBTQ news. See what's going on out there. How about this one? Democrat schools GOP congressman for his ignorant comments about intersex people. I guess, let's see. Texas State Representative Andy Hopper displayed his ignorance about LGBTQ plus issues recently by making incorrect statements about intersex people during a House floor debate. He made comments while supporting an amendment to eliminate state funding to the University of Texas at Austin for offering its LGBTQ plus and diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and degree plans. Under questioning by State Representative Lauren Ashley Simmons, Hopper first claimed that biological sex and gender identity are one and the same. Simmons replied, "That's not true," but moving on, and then asked about his thoughts on intersex people. "I don't even know what that means, ma'am," he replied before asking for a definition. A recording of his reply captured audible gasp and laughter at his response. Intersex individuals have innate variations in physical traits that differ from typical expectations for male or female bodies, including variations in reproductive organs, hormones, and chromosomal patterns. An estimated 1.7% of infants are born intersex, roughly the same number of people born with red hair. Many intersex individuals are forced to undergo irreversible surgeries to make their anatomies resemble stereotypical male or female bodies, and are also subject to stigma and discrimination. You are not sure what intersex people are, if they exist or not, but you want to defund a program about something you don't understand? That's why I'm seeking clarification, she said. She then said, "I'll take it really slow. Since the beginning of time, people have been born with either ambiguous genitalia or with or without ovaries. And so those people, from a biological standpoint, exist. They're not mythical." Hopper said, "Those intersex individuals are still XX or XY," referring to chromosomes, so you can't change that. However, as soon as Hopper commented, State Representative Valerie Swanson, Republican, whispered into his ear, "Andy, that's not true." So she a Republican. She was like, that's not facts.
You just rambling, sir.
Intersex people can have variations in their sex chromosomes, including people with Jacobs syndrome XYY, Klinefelter syndrome XXY, or the triple X syndrome XXX. Don't Google that one, guys. The video of the interaction.
And my thing is, even if you didn't know what it was, the whole point is like you're banning some shit that you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Not just that, Karen. You're banning something you could use.
Right.
You actually need to take one of these classes so you know what the fuck you're talking about, because you're banning something you don't even understand. You like, and intersex isn't necessarily like anything to do with sexuality. It's gender.
Right. So
like, it's very ignorant, and yet they have the power, so what do you do when an ignorant person has power and they're passing these laws? Let's see. Trans politician in Norway says trans Americans deserve asylum. We must act. Other countries are looking at America, seeing what Republicans are doing to trans people that live here, and they're like, how do we help people who are refugees from America who are trans and need to get the fuck out before something worse happens?
It would not be surprising. And for the people that can afford to leave, and some of the celebrities already like, I'm living in other countries. I'm still an American citizen.
Rosie O'Donnell,
I might still have a house and shit there, but overall, I'm good, dog.
Karen Odegaard, a Green Party member who is currently running to become the first out transgender member of the Norwegian parliament, believes her nation should offer asylum to transgender Americans. One thing is that you see the development of an illiberal democracy. I think that is extremely problematic. Then it gets even worse because the current administration has singled out transgender people as scapegoats. She compared the current situation to 1930s Germany. What would we have done in the 1930s if we knew what was about to happen? That's where we are now. Then we must act. Right. When we see developments in the U.S. where rights are being withdrawn through pure legal and political persecution, I believe that this should provide grounds for asylum. She said they did issue a travel warning. I don't know if they passed anything with like asylum yet, but I mean, that's how bad shit is here. Other countries are like, what can we do to help?
Yeah, in other countries for the past months, probably ever since Trump went in office and started acting the fool, which basically was immediately, they was like, hey, don't be taking your ass to America. You might not come back. Like, you know, and they've been very bold with it. Like, they like, hey, Trump don't run shit over here. You take your ass over there, it's at your own risk.
Yep. And we're seeing that. Let's see. Hungary passes constitutional amendment to ban LGBTQ plus public events. So you can't even like have a pride parade type situation.
Wow.
Right. Wow. It's seen as a major blow to rights. Yeah, it would be pretty major. The amendment, which required a 2/3 vote, passed along party lines with 144 and 21 against. It was proposed by the ruling Fidesz KDNP coalition, led by populist Prime Minister Viktor Orban. Ahead of the vote, the final step for the amendment, opposition politicians and other protesters attempted to blockade the entrance to a parliament parking garage. Police physically removed the demonstrators who had used zip ties to bind themselves together. The amendment declares that children's rights to morals, physical and spiritual development and supersede any right other than the right to life, including that to peacefully assemble. Hungary's contentious child protection legislation prohibits the depiction or promotion of homosexuality to minors under the age of 18. The amendment codifies a law fast-tracked through Parliament in March that bans public events held by LGBTQ plus communities, including the popular Pride event in Budapest that draws thousands annually. The law also allows authorities to use facial recognition tools to identify who attended the prohibited events. And this is how we erode our rights through bigotry. Now, we're not in Hungary, but still, you start eroding your rights a lot of times through bigotry, through hate. You know, I still remember after 9/11 how many rights people were willing to give up.
Yes.
Just because it was like, we need to get these Muslims. I don't feel safe. I'm terrorized. Therefore, let's make this country a surveillance state. And you don't go back on shit like this. This is not the kind of thing they only use for this Pride March. Next time they're going to use it for a political event where you're just protesting the president or some other, or his rival politician is giving a speech. And it's like, okay, let's see who all really support this person so we know who we need to fucking fuck with.
And, you know, like you said, and this is, like you said, it's a slow erosion. And people don't pay attention, and most people don't care until all of a sudden it starts impacting them. And the whole point is so you won't show up at the events. Like that's the whole point. The whole point is to scare the populace, because the populace is like, hey, we're actually doing stuff that's lawful. Okay, now I'm getting arrested for just showing up. Like, that doesn't make sense. But that was the whole point, was the fear of you wanting to abide by it. And most people follow the rules, so they're gonna take their ass inside.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like they're
well, it's dangerous.
Yes,
and you can't blame people. Like, people are scared, you know. So like, it will make total sense for people to be like, well, I guess I'm not going to Pride anymore. Like, this is the point of let these people get in charge, and they use that fear and the very real power of the state to squash down people. And at the end of the day, I don't even know that Viktor Orban cares about gay people one way or the other, but he knows that there's enough bigotry within the country to get people to look over there at me. And now I'm taking your other rights too. I'm doing all kinds of wild shit, but y'all worried about gay people so much. Why don't y'all just be mad at them?
It's a distraction tactic.
Supreme Court appears poised to rule for parents who objected to LGBTQ content in elementary schools. So basically, the members of the 6-3 conservative majority, which often backs religious rights, seemed sympathetic during the lively 2.5-hour oral argument about these parents from Maryland who objected on religious grounds to books made available in a school district's elementary school that feature stories about gay and transgender characters.
Yeah, but they ain't got to read them. The fuck is, I don't understand.
They don't even want they don't want their kids to know gay and transgender people exist.
Right.
They just think the mere fact that they're able to like tell a story that doesn't center cis heteronormative that monogamous type of story. They're like, well, since it don't center that, it is teaching my child to do something, which I always say that means something. Because what I think people what people always say is like, they don't realize. No, I think they might be stupid. They might not realize it on a conscious level.
They do.
But they do realize that showing your kids only one type of experience is 100% teaching them something. Mm-hmm. Now, what they may be teaching these kids who happen to be gay or possibly trans or non-binary, what they're teaching them is the way you are is wrong. There is no life for you when you grow up. That is not you conforming exactly to what we tell you to do. That's exactly what they're teaching them. It's like, only show them people kissing that are man and woman. Don't show them no happy gay people. Don't show them no gay people that overcame nothing. Don't show no trans people. And it just extends on down, and it's the same logic for getting rid of Black history and all this other stuff. It's the same logic of like, we don't need you to know what happened to these people before you, and we don't need you to think of them as people outside of you, and we definitely don't want you thinking that there's a future for anybody who is outside of what we tell them to be.
Right. Right, and that's kind of the whole point. And the thing is, once you begin to teach people these things, a lot of people have a fear that once you teach people these things, you enlighten children. And there's a lot of parents that like for their children to be dumb. Like they enjoy their children being stupid. Mm-hmm. And so they don't want their children to know about Black and brown people and other people. They want they want a collection or a generation to look at these others as scary things that are unknown. This is why they used to have stories about Black and brown people, how we used to have tales and all other kinds of bullshit. And also it keeps the separation there. And in my opinion, this is why they attack colleges and want schools and shit to be segregated, because particularly college, once you allow your child to go to college, parents can't stay on campus. You can't live on campus. So all of a sudden, parents don't have the control. Like, they lose that control and they panic. And I honestly think this is why a lot of parents are fighting against, the quote-unquote universities, the liberals and all that shit, because they go, well, and what happens, sometimes these children go off to colleges and come back and be like, Mom and Daddy, y'all full of bullshit. And all of the parents don't know how to take it. They get mad. They get upset. And for some of them, they actually have to cut their parents off because y'all are bigoted.
And also it's because, and I know people are gonna, I'm not saying all. Let me just preface it with that, because some of y'all are gonna write in and be like, but I know some that do. You're absolutely right. Don't even write in. I'm not talking about all, but there's a large contingent of people of privilege who teach their kids platitudes that make them seem good, but their actions are not congruent with what they teach their kids. Meaning, you teach your kid to share. Mm-hmm. You teach your kid that you don't even see race. Everybody's equal. But then your kid brings a Black kid home to play games with, and then you treat them different, and the kid sees that.
Yes, they do.
They see that if they tell you that this kid at school, they have a crush on him, and you find out that kid is not someone you approve of, you're very cold to that person. But you would never come out and say, don't bring no blank in my house. You don't say, hey, don't, once again, I'm not saying all. Some parents absolutely do say these horrible things, but there's a contingent of parents that don't say stuff like, hey, it's wrong for someone to be gay. Or you better not be gay.
But their actions.
But then let that girl wear shorts to church instead of a dress. Mm-hmm. They let you know through passive aggressive and aggressive means that is absolutely wrong. And it's so what the kid is taking from that is not acceptable. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so when you say that go to college stuff, I think that's what happens for a lot of kids. A lot of white kids have a wake up call after college, which is, my parents said it was okay that there was no reason to be racist, and you just judge people by what they do and not what their skin color is. So I went to school, met Black people for the first time, brown people for the first time, and was like, cool. What that kid never noticed is, well, where I grew up, my parents didn't let me be around any Black or brown people. Mm-mm. They moved to a place where it was mostly white. When Black people started moving in, brown people started moving, they got out of there. My parents didn't, they didn't necessarily rail against people being gay, but they just happen to be very religious, and they just happen to say that, you know, it's a sin. They didn't say anything more than that. But if I come back from school and say, like, you know, I'm exploring with bisexuality or something, like I might be gay, they're going to see that as an ultimate failure, and they're going to see that school as a threat. Like you said, like, we have to shut this institution down.
Yeah, that's why
I need your entire life to fit inside the prism I have built.
Yeah.
That you don't have any or see any experiences outside of what I told you is right and good.
Agreed.
And I don't need you having all these questions and experiences.
Right. And I think too many parents over the past generations, particularly, and I personally think a lot of this shit sped up with social media, with Facebook and Twitter, and particularly TikTok, actually teaching children at a lot quicker pace than, because you can be white and in the area that's all white, but if you have TikTok on your phone, all of a sudden you're exposed to a lot of different groups and people and nationalities and
that your parents can't control.
Right. And this is why they were like, well, we want to control the schools. Okay, that's cool. But it's not cool that you want to control the schools, but for the parents, it's cool to control the schools, and eventually it's going to leak into other things in their lives that they want to control too.
And so, yeah, the way that the Supreme Court argues these things or hears these arguments out is under religious freedom.
Right.
So basically they say by making it mandatory or including these no opt-out into these you know, the places where these kids could learn about LGBTQ stories, it violates the Christian rights. And when they say religious rights, you know they just mean Christian.
Yeah, they ain't talking about nobody
They don't
else.
mean any other religion. They don't respect any other religion.
Nobody else's religion.
Like, it's just, it's sad. One book, Uncle Bobby's Wedding, features a gay character who is getting married. Another, called Born Ready, is about a transgender child who wants to identify as a boy. Some parents, including Muslims and Orthodox Christians, objected on religious grounds under the Constitution's First Amendment, saying that children should be able to opt out of any exposure to the content. Conservative Justice Neil Gorsuch was one of several justices who raised comments made by a former member of the school board, Lynn Harris. She had suggested in a media interview cited in court papers that a student who objected to the books was parroting dogma passed on by her parents and compared their complaints to those of white supremacists who oppose civil rights law. Well, there's no comparison, is what every black person who's transphobic says, and homophobic. You can't even compare the two. But you know, she was just making a comparison. She compared the two. She didn't say they were equal. She didn't say they were the same. But she was like, listen, trying to make it where your kid is getting stressed out at just the idea of these people existing and a book having a character about that, that's not a thing a kid comes up with. That's a thing they inherit from their parents who have these issues.
Yes.
That's what she's saying, and she's right. And she's like, it's the same thing for kids. Don't come to school and just be racist. Like, you heard it from somewhere.
They're taught.
And that's how you end up displaying that behavior. But yeah, Gorsuch asked, does this suggest a hostility towards religion? So once again, Christians are the real oppressed
Victims.
people of LGBTQ people. See, y'all thought LGBTQ people was getting oppressed by religious zealots. No. It's the other way. They the ones that's doing it to us, to the religious people and all that. It's the straight people. We got to watch our backs, guys. These gays. Last story. Terrence Howard turned down Marvin Gaye biopic because he didn't want to kiss a man. I mean, Gaye is in the last name. Terrence Howard is almost starting a biopic of legendary soul singer Marvin Gaye, but there's one major holdup for the actor. During a recent appearance on Bill Maher's Club Random podcast, Howard said the biggest mistake of his career was turning down the starring role in Smokey Robinson's biopic, a role the musician personally asked him to play. Howard explained that he turned Robinson down because he was already in conversation with Lee Daniels about playing Marvin Gaye in a different biopic. Maher supported Howard's decision, adding that Gaye's life story was much more interesting. He went on to say that Howard would have been perfect as Marvin Gaye and that it's a story that needs to be told. However, Howard ended up missing out on the biopic as well because he said he passed on the project after he found out about Gaye's sexuality from another great musician, Quincy Jones. I was over at Quincy Jones' house and I'm asking Quincy, I'm hearing rumors that Marvin was gay. And he's like, and I'm like, was he gay? And Howard explains, and Quincy's like, yes, man. After that revelation, Howard decided he could not star in the movie. They would have wanted to do that, and I wouldn't have been able to do that, said of portraying a gay man in a movie. Mar, you mean you couldn't kiss a guy on the screen in a movie? Howard responded, no, because I don't fake it. That would fuck me, Howard added. I would have cut my lips off if I kissed a man. I would have cut my lips off, man.
Guess he'd have dumped him in the trash can.
I'm gay.
Good enough.
Right.
Good enough.
Right.
Shout out to that soundtrack. That soundtrack for that first season goes.
This is a song that make a man kiss a man. It does not make me It does not make me homophobic to not want to kiss a man. Howard explained that it was more of a matter of committing to the role than anything else. I can't play that character 100%. I can't surrender myself to a place that I don't understand, baby. Here's my thing. I think if I was afraid to play a gay character, and let's not call it homophobia, even though textbook people may feel that way. If I'm Terrence Howard or his PR people, I'll be like, don't say it like that. Say, I didn't want to play a role that probably should have went to a gay actor.
That's a better
Now, it's a lie. That ain't why you don't want to play the role. You actually don't want to play it because you don't want to kiss a man, even if it's acting. And
a man loves a man. Sorry. I know you're trying to be serious. My bad.
I just think he should say that. That's all. Like, I don't like, that's a smart way to say it.
Yeah. Even
now
if
he don't,
it's a lie.
and I do agree that you don't have to like want to do it. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of shit actors don't want to do when they take a role. You probably don't want to kill somebody in real life. But I thought under the auspices of acting, we all kind of understood. It's your body, so, you know, it's your choice, and you can choose not to take a role. But, like, I don't think people no right-thinking person necessarily looks at, oh, you took this role? Well, that must mean you 100% are that character.
Yeah. Nah, that's not true.
You know, Denzel plays a murderer. I don't think Denzel's a murderer. It's only when it comes to sexual stuff that we're like, he kissed him too good.
Not too good.
I don't know. I mean, but where else would it be coming from? Because, like, everything, it's not like I thought this nigga was going to hop in the fucking Iron Man suit and go help Tony Stark. It's obvious he's acting. I don't think he's actually a pimp rapper. Like, we know it's just acting, but he's afraid for some reason that this acting will stick or something. I don't get the exact reasoning, but that is what he's afraid of. All right, let's move into another segment. We've done enough here. I don't mean to be a jerk, but also cannot see him playing Marvin Gaye.
I was thinking he would be terrible.
Like, is he gonna sing the songs? He gonna sing like Marvin Gaye? Because I don't think Terrence Howard can even. They gonna have to dub the songs. What's going on, man? You like what's? Hey man, what's going on? Like, it's not gonna work. Inner City Blues, man, I got him. All right, gender wars.
We're going to war. Gender war. There's a war going on outside. Gender war. There's a war going on outside. Gender war.
See, I got these Inner City Blues, man.
Oh no.
Brother, there's far too many of us dying.
What's going on?
All right, here we go. Here's gender wars, guys. I have to remind everybody of the rules. We're trying not to get involved in the gender wars. Now, if that happens, that means it's high level content. But we're trying not to. What we want to do is judge
best not to. Yes.
The content for how good or bad it is based on virality, the authenticity, the emotional effort. So let's go find one of these things about gender. Here's a podcast clip. And I'll read the caption after we play some of the.
Why?
Why age? Why aren't you doing
Why?
that? Why aren't you dating women your own age?
Some women, not all. I get not all. Some women be pretty when they young. When they get older, they be looking bad. The older women don't be fit.
Now I gotta say, already, I like his energy. It's very ignorant and confrontational
and confident.
The way he's talking louder than her,
of course,
is very important here. The other thing is he's, I would imagine, an okay looking fella, but he's not above reproach, meaning that, and that's good for this type of gender wars content. If the guy does look quote unquote too handsome, it kind of offsets the backlash. But when he looks like this, a lot of people are going to insult his looks. Oh, look at his beard, it's not right. Oh, look at his edge up ain't this. It's that, he look like a sack of potatoes. Oh, zoom out. Let's go to his Instagram.
Jokes, yes.
Let's see the girl where's his baby mama, that kind of shit. So it makes for great content when the guy actually does not look amazing. And he's talking about, women letting themselves go.
The older women don't be fit. They don't be friendly. They don't be feminine. They don't be cooperative.
So women
and they don't be submissive.
A lot of times,
submissive. That's a good buzzword. That'll get them going every time.
Want to date somebody so much younger because y'all be wanting somebody to train. That's what it is.
Yeah, sometimes.
And men say that. Women are not things to train.
Well, she could train up. It said train up a child in the way they should go.
But that's why y'all be wanting to date children.
No, but
that's why y'all be wanting.
That's why you want to date children.
She's making good points too.
Yes.
That's another. I like that they included her clapping back. Like it's a back and forth. She's not, because a lot of times it's just a choice. But a lot of times the women will sit there and just be like a type of person.
Right.
And they don't push back. And that works sometimes too, because then people go in on the woman. Like, look at this pick me ass bitch, blah, blah. But I actually think it's even better when the person is vocal and pushing back. She's more attractive than him. And I think it adds to people feeling like a sense of camaraderie with her. And like, yeah, tell them, sis.
Listen, I see older guys date young girls all the time.
We do, but that doesn't say that there's nothing wrong with that, though. Just because it's normalized does not mean that it's okay.
When do you think you have kids?
I'm not having kids.
This is also great editing. They're cutting out a
lot of that conversation.
A lot of they're making it seem almost more confrontational. Like, I don't know what words were said between stuff, but they're getting right to the lines where like, ooh, there's a line of demarcation where they're going to disagree.
What you mean you're not having kids?
I'm not having kids.
That's what you was born here to do.
No, I'm not.
Why would you not want to have kids?
Why would I?
I'm asking you.
I want to have kids. I don't see any benefit.
Right. Don't see no benefit.
For giving somebody life?
You have a kid and your life becomes about the kid. I want my life to be about me.
Oh, you selfish.
That's okay.
No, that's good. That's some good content.
Yeah. I like that. I like the back and forth. I like the fact that neither party backed down. I like the fact.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No problem. I like the fact that neither party backed down. I like the fact that both parties were confident. I like the fact that they both got equal time. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're gonna have a back and forth, the timing needs to be equal. And shout out to the editing, like you say, you could tell because they chopped it like it was a continual conversation. But
they chopped it like almost like a boxing scene in a movie. Like he throw a punch, she throw a punch. It was like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, it's almost like somebody sat and watched everything they talked about, and it was like, okay, chop this, and this, make it sound seamless, make it sound like, because, this conversation probably was a lot longer than this. They probably talked about a lot more other shit.
It really couldn't have been any better if they had actual actors come in and read a script. I mean,
yes,
it's that good to me because they're hitting every buzzword. Like it's like when you read a book and they have a conversation between two characters. And because the conversation is supposed to encapsulate like general conversations in society, somehow in that conversation becomes the perfect this trope. That's exactly what they're doing. They're going straight from trope to trope. Like, it's just, I like younger women because old women not feminine and they be too mean. They won't be submissive. Oh yeah, well, a lot of men like younger women because they like children, basically. Oh word, you ain't gonna have no children. Like, how are you even getting there that fast?
That fast. And also the thing is, they both hit on insecurities in both groups.
Yeah.
Her basically was like, hey dog, y'all like to train women, y'all like to train children,
But what's interesting is that she don't look that old. So it's like, I don't know if she counts as even an older woman, but she was able to like take on those argument points. Anyway, 0 to 10, what would you give this? I'm sorry, I didn't read the caption. I'm just gonna leave this here before my blood starts boiling again. I know he isn't talking about older women when this nigga's body is built like Cleveland Brown and his head is shaped like a cereal box. Told you, man. They were gonna be on him.
I would give this one. I'm gonna give this one a 9. This one was really, really good. This one was up there.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's a 9 as well. That was a good one. Like, only thing probably could have made that better is if they said like they were dating, or like somebody called each other out of their name, something like I don't want them to, but
yeah, that's the thing.
That's the only way I can see this gender war thing getting even bigger than it is, because that was pretty big.
Yes.
All right, let's go to another. We'll do one more gender war.
Okay.
Let's see. This is more, I think this one might be more funny than serious, but let's see. It's a picture I saw on Facebook that was trending. This was last year. Woman says her boyfriend broke up with her after her meet and greet picture with Chris Brown. And the meet and greet picture is, Chris Brown was taking pictures with fans. There's still a lot of black women that support him. They dress up sexy, and he does a bunch of silly stuff and serious stuff. But in this case, he's doing like a prom hold almost, like he's holding it from behind. My boyfriend broke up with me because I allowed Chris Brown to hold my waist during the meet and greet. After the picture went viral, my boyfriend immediately broke up with me. He told me Chris Brown was too close to me and I shouldn't have allowed him to hold me like that. But I don't care. I will trade my boyfriend for a meet and greet with Chris Brown 100 more times.
I don't think she cared too much about you, my brother.
Someone put a link to TikTok.
Bro, my boyfriend.
Okay.
Friend broke up with me about a week.
Hold on a second. TikTok, I guess it says the boyfriend responds. Okay, so the rabbit hole gets deeper.
Later, after arguing because he felt like Chris was too close on me.
Well, I'm the boyfriend, but of course I broke up with her. But she don't want to mention that she was cheating before we even ran into this problem. The Chris Brown thing was the icing on the cake. And as far as Chris Brown go, these light skinned, you know what?
He's light skinned.
He likes light skin on light skin violence.
Shania, do not get on the internet and try to act like, oh, you don't need me. You don't need me. You needed me when you moved to my house. You needed me when I had to co-sign on the car for you. You needed me then, but then you go meet Chris Brown, and I broke up with your cheating ass. And the main reason that I broke up with you is because you've been cheating. This Chris Brown thing is just some extra bullshit that I've been dealing with since I met you. You feel what I'm saying? So the whole point, the icing on the cake is I'm not finna play these internet games with you. For starters, you're not, everybody can rah and Chris, run it. Like, he corny. So if I see him, if I meet and greet with him, you already know what's up. So you need to stop playing with me and acting like you didn't need me, because you definitely needed me. And that's all I'm going to talk about.
Now, it is interesting because if you look at his other videos on this page, my marriage ended after only 2 weeks. I catch my wife in bed with another with another couple, and then I later found out she's pregnant. I don't know who the baby belongs to. Everyone's telling me that I'm wrong.
How many relationships you been in?
Because I'm not going to take care of this baby no matter what. So I'm prone to believe this guy is full of shit.
Yes.
But it also makes me wonder if the first person's full of shit. If maybe they're in on it together. Maybe this is just rage content. So, it seems like that might be what's happening here. But what would you rate this content? This gender wars content.
I give this one about a 6 or 7. Because I would have liked for the boyfriend and her to interact with each other versus seeing her video and seeing him separately, like have them communicate with each other. Would have actually bumped it up a few notches for me.
That's true.
And the way hearing her voice, she didn't come in like, yeah, I went out there. You know,
she didn't. Yeah, you're right. She didn't really have a lot, but she wasn't talking directly to him, so maybe that's why.
Right. It's like she didn't come out there with that.
Yeah.
I'm not taking any accountability for my actions type of thing.
I think you're right. I think it's like 6, 7. It's not. I want to make it higher because Chris Brown is such a great starting point. Like the premise is great. But I would not. It just feels very fake. I don't feel like that's even a real
and I
couple.
think that's what took it down for me.
I don't even feel like in the original post she even has a boyfriend. It just feels like a bunch of bullshit. It might be true, but they didn't deliver the truth to make me feel it's true. So I have to go with you, Karen. No, 6 out of 7. Too fake. Y'all got to give us more, okay?
Got to give us more.
I need to feel like I'm getting cheated on. Okay?
Right? If not, why are we here?
All right, let's get into some Guess the Race as we start to wind this down.
What time is it?
It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race.
Guess the Race, the game we go around different down around the globe, find different articles and guess the race of the people involved. And of course the chat room plays along, guessing the race, as well as Karen. Today's contestant is the first one is a North Carolina teacher. Okay, it happened here, guys. North Carolina teacher who is accused of hitting her husband with a hammer.
Damn.
Guess she wanted to hammer her point home. That's a different way to take your husband to Pound Town.
Yeah, she wanted to be sure he got the point.
Oh, Karen, that last one, you nailed it. All right, let's see if I was trying to see if I could get the article to play, but it might be about to play. All right, I'll see if I can play it for you guys rather than just read it. And you guys will have to let me know in the chat if it starts playing.
No problem.
Damn, this shit still ain't playing. It's just stuck on this fucking. Okay, there we go. Let me know if y'all can hear this, okay?
At 4, we're tracking several top stories.
Christine Cruz joins us in studio with a closer look at what's happening now. Christine.
Devontae and Lindsay, we have new details on a shooting at a North Carolina college camp.
Oh, this isn't even the same story. I hate when they do this.
All
right, well, fuck it. I'll just read it to you.
Oh, the story be one thing. You click on a link and it's a completely different story. Right.
A Pitt County teacher and instructor at East Carolina University is in jail without bond after deputies say her husband was attacked with a hammer. Miranda Tolliver was arrested on Monday for assault with a deadly weapon, communicating threats in a misdemeanor crime of domestic violence. Warrant says the 27-year-old woman from Stokes hit her husband in the leg with a hammer. She also accused of telling her husband, "I will kill you, and I wish I hit you." Tolliver is a social studies teacher at Aiden Middle School, and the school system says she is currently suspended.
You don't say.
Listen, she should have told him, meet me behind the buses. Everybody know that's how you get away with it.
She said, I know my history about these hammers.
Pitt County says she's been a teacher since August of 2022. She is also an adjunct geography instructor at ECU. Okay. All right, I'm trying to see if I can find her pic. There we go. All right, Karen, guess the race of Miranda Tolliver.
I'm going to go white.
Karen's going white. Let's check the chat room. See what these races are up to.
I don't know blacks by that name.
By Miranda?
No, by the last name.
Tolliver.
Yes.
Okay. It's hammer time, white. That's what he was saying. Stop. White hit him in the leg with a hammer, white, because his sister would have busted him in dead in the head White woman. Everybody going white on this joint. Everybody, you got it correct. I guess she had to teach him a lesson. She's smiling like she do not regret that.
At all. She was like, I nailed him again.
Yep. All right, let's go to the next story. Okay, those are the same story. Woman 88 busted for scooter crash. In another instance of gray on gray crime.
Yeah, not gray on gray.
We hate to see it in the wrinkle community. An 88-year-old woman is accused of fleeing the scene after plowing her SUV into the mobility scooter of a 77-year-old victim who was thrown from the electric vehicle and hospitalized for her injuries. Damn. They had the beef going way back.
Way back.
Investigators say Carolyn Segrist was driving in the parking lot of a Sam's Club at 8:30 a.m. when the crash occurred. They say she struck Laverne Hampton. These some old names.
These some old ass names.
Carolyn and Laverne.
Oh, these women's over 70.
Yeah. She struck Laverne Hampton's mobility scooter with the front of her Buick Envision. Hampton was thrown from the scooter and was hospitalized from her injuries.
Of course.
Damn. Think when she drove by, she talked shit to her?
Something happened.
Well, thank you for being a friend, bitch.
I know. In a Buick. And you know she had one of them old school Buicks that don't dent.
Yeah, Buick Envision. I never even heard of that.
Me either. They probably don't even make them no more.
Maybe it's new. I don't know. I feel like they would stick to the brand. But I don't know if it's like a deuce on the quarter or just some new shit. It look pretty new. It's like an SUV. It's look pretty nice. Anyway, she did not stop at the scene of the crash to render aid or exchange information. 4 hours after the incident, police arrested the retired octogenarian for leaving the scene of a crash, which is a felony. She was booked in the county jail and scheduled for initial court appearance this morning. I wonder what she's like in jail. Like, is she sweet old lady, or is she like in there running the shit? I feel like there's no in between.
Ain't no in between.
I feel like she's either over there like, give me your pudding, bitch, or she's or she's like, oh no, please, my back. Do you have any extra pillows for my back?
One of the two.
Segrist lives about 4 miles from the Sam Club in a condominium she purchased with her husband in 1987. In 2023, she pleaded guilty to careless driving that resulted in the crash.
Sound like you might not need to be driving, ma'am.
Yeah, or sound like maybe y'all need to listen when she tell you to move. Karen, guess the race of the Carolyn Segrist.
I'm gonna go white.
Karen's going with white for Carolyn. Let's see what the chat room says. Oh, I see. Thug Granny White. That just made me want Bobby Brown to sing it. And I know you're getting bored. You're going to miss my granny, the granny. White woman.
Yeah, she's probably on a working woman comedy show.
Working woman, what's that?
Designing women, working women. Lord have mercy.
I don't even think that woman was old.
No, but she's old enough for her to be young when that show came on. She was like, a older woman watching it. True. At that time.
Facts of life. A white elder. Good. Nana's fighting white. Issa white woman. Correct answer is white.
Ooh, child, she of Laverne and Shirley era.
Well, she hit a Laverne. That makes sense. Laverne, this Shirley.
Right?
She remixed it.
Yeah, she did.
Octogenarian to octogenarian. I love the hair. It's giving a woman of a certain age.
You know she set her ass up underneath a hair dryer for that.
Yeah, it's giving shadoop.
Yeah, she got some rollers.
On the boardwalk.
You can't tell her shit.
She looked like she used to have a bathing suit that was a one piece, and she danced like this.
Yes, let's do that twist.
All right, let's go to the bonus round. Karen is you're 2 for 2, right?
Yes.
Woo! That bitch was white.
I ain't racist. How can I be racist about anybody or anything in my life? How can I?
Call them niggas. Just call them niggas.
It's time to get
gold
the race.
teeth, gold chain wearing, fried chicken and biscuit eating, monkey ate baboon, big thigh, fast running, high jumping, spear chucking, 360-degree basketball.
An 87-year-old Florida man was arrested yesterday for domestic battery after tangling with his wife when she sought to turn the air conditioning down in the couple's residence.
Y'all know old people like for that shit to be 82 degrees at all time, burning the fuck up out of you.
I'm so sick of these thermostat and batteries.
Yes.
Okay, let's stop. Assault and thermostatery. I don't know. One of those two. A source of marital strife controlled the thermostat triggered a 7 a.m. conference. 7 a.m.
Ooh, this is early in the morning.
It's Florida, so maybe it was hot as hell. I don't know. But it started between Charles Ingram and his 85-year-old spouse. The investigators say Ingram returned to the couple's St. Petersburg home and argued with the victim, his wife, about the air conditioner. The woman touched the thermostat to turn the air down, prompting him to allegedly push the victim away from the thermostat and against the wall. That is so old to be fighting. 87 and 85.
Come on, child. You break something.
Divorce and spend your last 3 months on earth happy. What are you doing?
Right, ain't that the truth? And it ain't a lamp or anything like that, probably breaking hips.
When questioned by police, he reportedly admitted to pushing her first and then stated the victim pushed him back. What are you, 10? I did first, but then she pushed me back. Okay.
Okay, sir. Come on.
Well, he's so old it was legal when he was younger.
It was.
He was like,
she used to be my property.
Back when we got married, they gave me a spanking broom. They said, this is what you use on your wife.
Right.
Now you telling me these newfangled rules, the Me Too movement. What's that?
Have no idea.
Pictured above, he was arrested for domestic violence with the charge enhanced to a felony due to his prior battery convictions that date back more than 4 decades.
Oh, he been whipping on this one for a long time.
Yeah, women. Who knows?
True.
He has a rap sheet that also includes a 1985 welfare fraud conviction.
Oh!
He's scheduled to appear in court this afternoon. The judge will likely order him to have no contact with his wife and bar him from returning to the couple's residence, which they purchased in 1971.
Goddamn!
Yeah, right?
You know that bitch is paid off.
They done had that shit longer than I've been alive.
Yes, me too!
All right, Karen, guess the race of Mr. Charles Ingram.
Charles Ingram, I'm going black.
Karen's going black and apparently chilly. He like it warm.
He like it warm.
Okay.
She's like, Chad, I'm old. It's hot in here.
Black, Negro, St. Petersburg, white, says K Can. Welfare fraud, black, says Yeti. You know, there's more white people on welfare. All right, I know y'all know. All right, the correct answer is Karen said black. A lot of y'all said black. One person said white. He was black. One person did miss it.
Yeah, every Ingram I know is black.
That's a good call, Karen. That's a good call. And you got it right. So who's to say that you're wrong?
Right. There probably that
racism
some white
worked
ones,
out for you that time.
But yeah, everyone that I know, I do not know a white one.
Sword ratchet this time. Tulsa police have arrested a man who's accused of stabbing another man with a sword. Police say it happened early Friday morning at the Astoria Apartments.
Early morning crimes.
Hey, first thing, you know.
Wake up in crime.
You know what they say? Early to bed, early to crime.
Apparently so.
They say the victim had multiple serious stab wounds, but was able to tell police about the suspect, Anton Linder, had fled. Guess the race of Anton Linder.
Anton Linder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go white.
Karen's going white for Anton Linder.
Anton.
Mm-hmm. Or it could be pronounced Anton Linder. It's one of the two.
don't know. If it's Anton, it's black.
Okay. Karen, so you switching to black?
Yes.
You're right. He is black, Karen. You got a bonus round, correct? Yeah.
Oh, he got a big ass knot upside his head, and he his eyes look crazy.
Yeah. Definitely like a sword attacker type person. You know what they say? The early bird gets the sword or something. Not long after, they got a report of a car burglary in progress at the same complex, and they found him hiding in the trunk.
The trunk?
Like Ray Caruth. He was booked on complaints of assault with a dangerous weapon and burglary from a vehicle. He didn't seem to have a lot of a plan there.
He did that.
Yeah, I agree, Karen. Nah, it seemed like he did. All right, y'all, that's it. Thanks for listening. No show tomorrow. Balls Deep Sports for premium people is when we're doing the show tomorrow. Thursday, we'll be looking out for our review of Thunderbolts. We're planning on seeing that. And until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Have a good rest of your night.